Okay, sports fans, here we are with her assembled in all of her large, majestic glory. Thought you might like to see what she looks like, fully assembled for the most part. This is the third scale. Of course, it's very big. You can see wingtip to wingtip, it barely fits inside my workshop. I mean, I probably have what, maybe a foot to spare over here, and maybe about 14 inches over here. So she's a big girl. What I don't have put in place goes there, are the side panels there. One thing that gave me some consternation when I was building this puppy is this space here. I think this was a mistake in the kit cutting. I really believe that this piece, this gap should not be here, that this was supposed to be all the way up. So I had to decide, do I tilt that up and then this would no longer be straight and this no longer would be, straight and flush here, or do I do it like this? And I opted to do it like this. I figured there was not enough of a structural issue, and that's ply there anyway. So that was what I chose, but that's there. You can see the tail back there. I'll probably climb under this wing, and the tail pieces, the yellow ones are the elevator halves, and the white is the vertical, is the rudder. Beneath the prop, hold on a minute, sneak in here. You can see the unpainted, I don't know what you call that. That's part of the vertical stabilizer. But in any case, that goes in front of the rudder and then meets up with the rudder. And you see the horizontal stabilizer. The yellow part is already in place. I'll take a look. I'll climb underneath the wing in a sec. And barely fits on my bench. You see here at the front, it's almost off the front end. And the tail, I probably have about a good 5 inches back there, maybe. And this is a 80-inch door, 80-inch door that she's sitting on. So she is a big girl. Motor is the Fuji 64. Let me take this chin cowl. They give you a formed ABS plastic one. I actually don't know where it is. It's around here somewhere. But the one that came in the kit wouldn't fit. No matter how much I tried and fought and this, that, and the other. So I went through the process of building this one. It's not to my liking. But I figured I'll just go ahead and get going. And then I can always come back and make another one. But let me take this off real quick so that you can see her there. So I built this out of balsa and foam. The blue stuff is the light filler, and the brown stuff is epoxy and micro balloons. So any case, that's her. But what I don't like about it is this is supposed to be like a thin edge, like maybe just where the balsa is, but I have a thick edge. So I don't know. I'm at some point in time I'll go through and I'll make another one. I thought about just trying to sand this down flush, but I couldn't get the contour I wanted. So after building a couple of these and fighting over with it, I just decided this is good enough for right now, good enough for government work. So there is the bottom, and I'm trying to step back with the GoPro some because I know it with this fisheye lens. I think I put it on narrow, but I know it curves when you're up close, so I'm trying to keep some distance back here. But let me take one thing I didn't mention on this side, I custom fabricated a dual port exhaust here, dual port or dual exit, whatever you want to call it. I haven't fired the engine up yet, so I don't know how well it works, how well it doesn't work. That's right. Yep, I forgot I can't get the cowl off with the engine prop hub still on. I knew I did that for a reason. I couldn't remember until just now. Alright, let me take this off real quick. Bear with me. Da, 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 da. Building this engine cover wasn't complicated, but definitely is one of the things that you really want to take your time. Bending this screen, metal screen, it's like screen door or window screen, wasn't complicated, but again, trying to get it right, and of course sanding this nice curve here. One of the things that I don't know how well you can see it, but I had a hard time trying to keep this edge and this edge symmetrical, and you can see it's fatter down here than over there. At first glance you probably won't notice it until I point it out, but yeah, being the kind of person that I am, it absolutely bothered me. I'm one of these people that like symmetry, things to be the same. So I fought back and forth when I even thought about completely tearing it apart and doing it again. But again, this is a model. It's not a, it's a Balsa USA model compared to, let's say, a Glen Torrance model. Glen Torrance goes for a lot of accuracy, scale accuracy, almost museum quality, I guess you would say. And whereas you might consider the Balsa USA to be a standoff scale kind of model, but it works. Okay, so now that's off. Let me lift this up and off. So this comes apart in one big piece. Not too shabby. And I had to cut out the center section here. So again, not too bad. I've been trying to be very careful not to dent or puncture the screen. I do see I got a little defect there. All right, let's set you there. There's the 64, Fuji 64. I used the 64 because this is the motor that was in Balsa USA's prototype. So I figured, you know, if it worked for their prototype, it's good enough to work for me. Of course, I could always change it. It is sitting on the box. It's not an adjustable box, but if I needed to put a different motor on there, I assume I could make some changes in that box to get it right. The exhaust, I don't know how well you can see this, just used copper tubing, and I brazed them together, and just down, over, and out. I'm hoping with all of these bends, I use 45s because I didn't want to use 90s. I'm hoping with these bends, and I tried to get 45s over here, but I just couldn't get it to work right, that it's not too much back pressure for the motor. And I'm going to figure out something to do, of course, with this wire, because it can't be around that hot exhaust. So any case, that's where we are now. I have the servos just sitting in place right now, but this most likely is where they will be. And of course, receiver, batteries, whatever, will go there. And this is the old girl. The two parts for the flying wing for the landing gear, and that's pretty much it. What you can't see is I have what you won't see is any wires running from the receiver down here to the upper ring. I know a lot of the biplanes, you'll see a wire coming up one of the cabanes to the up to the upper wing. What I have is a separate receiver and battery for the servos up here. Let me see. Actually, if I take the GoPro off, you might be able to see that. Hold on. Let me try this real quick. Hopefully, I'll put you at arm's length. You can see what's going on up here. So you have the receiver, and right now I have the Spectrum with 2 satellites on there. Since I started building this, I've I've received a Futaba 10J radio. I actually won it at CEF, the electric flying event in Georgia last year. So I'm actually considering using that instead of keeping it at Spectrum. Put the camera back on my head. So yeah, actually I'm considering using that instead of the Spectrum. But time will tell. Time will tell. All right, let me climb underneath this wing and take a look at it from the backside. Hold tight. Okay. Once again, ignore my junkie shop. All right, so this is the old girl from behind, and again, she's pretty big. This is the horizontal stab. As I mentioned, the rudder and this guy, they go like that. Yada yada yada. There you go. One thing, I don't know if you can see it, I had to be very careful when I was using the Stitz light. Like I said, I really love this product. It does great shrinking, and I don't know if you can see it. Of course, this piece was perfectly vertical, but if I compare it now to this white, you see there's a bow in the middle. Even with the stiffening piece in the middle, the Stitz, when I started shrinking it and tightening, it started pulling in this this piece. So yeah. But yeah, that's her. I did have to do. I had a one of these pieces broke right here. You probably can't see it. I haven't even glued it in yet. But there's a break here and a broke there. Just hanger rash. It was sitting around. I think it slid over and hit something and broke that. But that's the old girl. So I'm hoping pretty soon she will be good to go in stereo. All right. So my next step at this point will be I'm going to start covering the bottom wings. They should be able to be covered and shrunk. Same thing with the upper wings. They should be able to be covered and shrunk, and be able to go from there. So yep, that's about it. I'm kind of sort of in the home stretch. Hopefully we'll see her in the air in less than a month, or in about a month. That's the plan, rubber band. But the old girl. Oh, and I do have. Oh, I didn't pull it out. Where is it? Where is it? I have to show you in another video. I had I met a gentleman online on RC Universe, I think it was, and he custom paints pilots. So I had him custom paint a pilot for me to go right there. So I'm going to have to build a some type of a platform for the pilot to sit on. But in any case, he painted that, and it's actually very nice. Oh, no, that's not it. That's the pilot for the stagger wing behind me. All right. Any case, that's about it. So yep, I think when next we meet, we should be looking at covering and doping. And she got some rock to her. And we're like, rock and roll, baby, rock and roll. But yeah, when next we meet, we should be covering, which I have to do outside. It's Sunday. What is today? The 5th? 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th of October? 4th of October, 5th of October? One of them days. Any case, yeah, it's the 4th of October, the 4th. Hurricane Joaquin, and on the East Coast here, Hurricane Joaquin prohibited a lot of activities, or at least in the beginning, but he turned and blew offshore. So we have less of an impact than we thought there would be. And also we had a nor'easter come up, which was really gave us most of our weather this weekend. So in any case, that prevented me from doing any outdoor activities. But hopefully this coming week, the temperature rises. It's down into the 50s and 60s because of this weather event. So I need the temperature to rise so I can do the stits. And that's my rush now, because as I mentioned before on a different video, the application of the stitch covering, a good part of that is spraying it. You can brush it, but spraying it works very well. But it doesn't like to spray when the temperature is less than 70 degrees. It doesn't spray very well. At least that's been my experience. So I'm trying to get this done before the temperature drops too far. Otherwise, I gotta do it in my garage, and that's a pain trying to heat it and keep the smell out of the house. So, anywho, that's her for now. I'll talk to you sports fans later. Toodaloo!